Before we begin Athena's story, picture a scene in your mind. The supreme god Zeus is sitting on his magnificent throne, noting both hands pressed hard against his temples, writhing and groaning in pain. He's suffering from such a terrible headache that his cries can be heard across every corner of the earth. The other gods of Olympus gather around him in a panic. Hera looks at her husband with a mix of worry and irritation. Apollo desperately tries to calm him by playing a soothing melody on his lyre. Hephaestus cracks half a serious jokes, muttering something like, "Should I put an anvil on his head and hit it with a hammer?" Zeus's head feels like it's about to explode. Literally. Imagine it. The ruler of the skies twisting in agony Mount Olympus itself, echoing with his screams. So what could possibly be causing Zeus this kind of torment? To understand what's happening, we need to rewind time just a little. Athena's birth story is one of the strangest and most striking tales in all of mythology. It begins with Zeus falling head over heels for Metis, the goddess of intelligence and wisdom. Metis is the daughter of the ocean gods Oceanus and Tethys, a titaness unmatched in cleverness and cunning. The moment Zeus becomes captivated by Metis' wisdom and beauty, he starts pursuing her. But Metis is not an easy target. To escape the seductive Zeus, she uses tricks beyond imagination. She turns into a hawk and glides swiftly through the sky, and Zeus immediately transforms into an eagle to follow her. She becomes a fish and dives into the seas. Zeus turns into a dolphin and keeps chasing. She even turns into a massive serpent and slips between rocks. But Zeus instantly becomes a giant serpent himself and refuses to let her go. No matter how many forms Metis takes, it's no use. Zeus is locked in, matched every transformation with ease. Eventually, Metis realizes she cannot escape and gives in. Zeus takes advantage of the moment, calming her with clever words, lowering her guard with sweet talk like, "You don't need to run. Let's rule together. Let our children fill the world." Just as poor Metis finally relaxes, Zeus makes a sudden move. He opens his mouth wide and swallows Metis, along with the unborn child in her womb, in a single gulp. Yes, you heard that right. Zeus literally absorbs the goddess of wisdom into himself. There is a reason for this shocking act, the unborn child. Before approaching Metis, Zeus had heard a prophecy. According to Gaia, Mother Earth herself, Metis would give birth to a daughter first. But if she ever bore a second child, a son, that boy would grow up and overthrow Zeus from his throne. For Zeus, this was a terrifying possibility. After all, Zeus knew his family history well. His own father, Cronus, had been overthrown by his children, and Cronus himself had dethroned his father, Uranus. In this family, fathers fall to sons. Zeus decides, this cycle ends with me. Taking Gaia's warning seriously, he believes that by swallowing Metis while she is pregnant, he eliminates both the mother and the child as threats. Two birds with one stone. The powerful son will never be born, and Zeus will absorb all wisdom and intelligence into himself. In doing so, Zeus believes he has outsmarted fate and secured absolute power. At first, everything seems fine. Life on Olympus continues as usual. Zeus is confident, even smug, enjoying his victory. He believes that swallowing the goddess of wisdom has made him even smarter than before. But this is where the story takes a turn. Before long, Zeus begins to feel a mild ache in his head. He ignores it at first, but the pain grows and grows until it becomes unbearable. The mighty god of thunder begins to writhe as if poisoned. What started as a slight ache quickly turns into a blinding headache that makes Zeus roar in agony. His screams feel like earthquakes on earth, lightning cracking across the peak of Olympus. The other gods rush to help. Everyone tries to diagnose the problem. Apollo places his divine healing hands on his father, but it's useless. Hera mutters angrily, "What now? What disaster is this?" Poseidon summons cold seawater to cool Zeus's head. Nothing works. Zeus keeps screaming. Finally, the clever god Hermes pieces it together. The messenger god quickly realizes what's happening and says, "There's something inside Father's head trying to get out." And he's right. The child Metis was carrying has continued to grow inside Zeus and is now struggling to be born from within his skull. Hermes urgently calls out to Hephaestus, "Quick, grab your hammer!" Hephaestus, already irritated by Zeus's endless screaming, steps forward. After all, there's no problem a blacksmith can't solve. Following Hermes' instruction, he grabs a sharp bronze axe, or in some versions, a massive hammer. Zeus is in such agony that he roars, "Do whatever you have to do." The other gods step back in fear. Hephaestus, with Herculean strength, lifts the weapon high above his head. Hera screams, "Be careful!" And then Hephaestus brings the blow down with full force, splitting Zeus's skull straight down the middle. For a moment, everything goes silent. Then an enormous beam of light bursts upward from Zeus's split head. A thunderous war cry echoes through the air. And then the miracle happens. From the opening in Zeus's forehead emerges a magnificent warrior woman, fully armored. This is Athena. She is born as a grown woman wearing a helmet, holding a long spear, and carrying a massive shield. Some say she wears a cloak woven from shimmering olive leaves. As soon as she emerges, she lets out a battle cry that shakes the mountains and swings her spear through the air. Everyone on Olympus freezes. The gods stare in shock, unable to believe what they're seeing. Zeus is relieved, but utterly stunned. Hera frowns in disbelief. Poseidon bursts into booming laughter, shouting, "Just like her father." Even little Eros drops his arrow in amazement. Athena surveys her surroundings in her shining armor, slams her shield, and shoots Zeus a look that seems to say, "Be ready, Zeus, your daughter is here." And that is how Athena's extraordinary birth takes place. Born from her father's head, without a mother, fully equipped as a goddess of intelligence and war. This unusual birth reflects her nature. Because Athena is born from Zeus's mind, she becomes the goddess of intellect and wisdom. Because she is born in armor, she becomes the protector of war and strategy. To the Greeks, her birth symbolized that wisdom comes directly from a divine source, from the mind of Zeus himself. Some versions even say that when Zeus swallowed Metis, wisdom entered him fully, and Athena became wisdom made flesh. That is why Athena becomes Zeus's favorite child, because she is literally a part of him. In mythology, Zeus rarely makes important decisions without consulting Athena. She is both his daughter and his advisor. The phrase "father's daughter" finds its true meaning in Athena. With no mother, she is known as a virgin goddess, bowing to no husband or lover, representing complete independence. Even imagining Athena's birth is powerful. A father takes on both parental roles, giving birth from his own mind. This myth reflects how highly the Greeks valued intelligence and strategy. Athena's direct origin from Zeus symbolizes power drawn from pure divine intellect. From the moment she appears, Athena declares herself ready. She is the guardian of wisdom, logic, and just war. Her position among the gods is different from birth. because she breaks the generational cycle of fathers being overthrown by sons. Zeus tried to suppress the threat by swallowing Metis, but wisdom still emerged. The message is clear. Wisdom and strategy cannot be suppressed forever. No matter how much you try, they will eventually break through, just like Athena bursting from Zeus's head. And so Athena takes her place among the 12 Olympians. Zeus adores her. They say Athena holds a special place in Zeus's heart. The king of the gods shows her a level of trust and respect he doesn't even grant to Hera or Aphrodite. Over time, Athena becomes his right hand. She is powerful, intelligent, and a warrior, but she does not delight in needless bloodshed. What sets her apart from other war gods, especially the bloodthirsty Ares, is exactly this. Athena may seem like a war goddess, but in truth she loves victory and order, not violence itself. Given her extraordinary birth, it's no surprise Athena never lives an ordinary divine life. Throughout mythology, she appears as one of the sharpest, most strategic minds. She enters battlefields not to create chaos, but to impose order. She advises kings with her wisdom and protects crafts, arts, and civilization. Now let's look more closely at Athena's life as a grown goddess, her actions, her symbols, her influence on the human world, and her modern reflections. Perhaps in this mythological mirror, we'll find a bit of wisdom for ourselves. One of Athena's first great challenges as an adult goddess is claiming a city to protect. According to legend, long ago Athena and Poseidon competed to become the patron deity of a newly founded city. That city, of course, was Athens, though at the time it was known as Kekropia, named after its king, Cecrops. Both gods wanted the city, to give it their name and rule over it. They agreed to settle the matter with a contest. Under King Cecrops' leadership, the people gathered on the Acropolis. The other Olympian gods watched invisibly. Zeus presided as judge, with the final decision resting with the people. The atmosphere was tense, like the final round of an Olympic event. Everyone waited to see what the two gods would offer. Poseidon went first. With dramatic flair, he struck the rock with his trident. The stone cracked open, and a massive column of water burst forth, forming a pool. At first, the people cheered. Water meant life. Poseidon smiled proudly as if to say, "I have brought you the gift of the sea." But when the people tasted it, they immediately spat it out. Salt water, useless for drinking, useless for farming. Disappointment spread quickly. Poseidon's brows furrowed. He struck the rock again, releasing even more salt water, scorching the land around it. The people stepped back. Poseidon stood tall, but inside he knew he was losing ground. Then Athena stepped forward, calmly. With quiet confidence, she lowered her spear and touched it to the earth. Everyone watched closely. A small shoot appeared, growing rapidly into a full tree before their eyes. It was an olive tree, heavy with fruit. The air filled with the scent of fresh olive leaves. King Cecrops plucked an olive and tasted it. His face lit up. This tree would provide food, oil, light, trade, shade, and peace. The people immediately understood its value. Zeus turned to King Cecrops. The decision was easy. "Poseidon's water is impressive," Cecrops declared, "but Athena's olive tree will serve my people today and tomorrow. Athena shall be our protector." The crowd erupted in cheers, chanting Athena's name. Poseidon, humiliated, erupted in rage and cursed the land with drought. Even so, the decision stood. The city was named Athens, in Athena's honor. The Athenians were deeply grateful. They built temples, held festivals, and honored Athena as their guardian. Even when invaders destroyed the city, the sacred olive tree was said to sprout again from the ashes, a sign Athena had not abandoned them. This myth carries a timeless lesson. Power and spectacle fade, wisdom and usefulness endure. Athena wins without force, offering something that lasts. Athena's approach to war further defines her. Compared to Ares, the god of blind violence, Athena represents discipline and strategy. This contrast plays out vividly during the Trojan War, when Athena helps the mortal Diomedes wound Ares himself. Even Zeus scolds Ares, calling him reckless and hateful. Athena earns Zeus's respect because, time and again, intelligence defeats brute force. Athena's greatest victory may not be on the battlefield at all, but in the courtroom. In the trial of Orestes, Athena replaces endless blood revenge with justice. She establishes the first court of law, calming the Furies and transforming them into protectors. Rage becomes order. Vengeance becomes law. Throughout mythology, Athena guides heroes. Perseus, Heracles, Jason, and above all, Odysseus. She appears as mentor, the very origin of the word, offering guidance rather than brute force. She ends wars before they spread. She restores balance. Her symbols tell her story. The owl sees in darkness. The olive tree sustains life. The serpent represents renewal. Medusa's head on her shield reminds us that wisdom can be terrifying. Athena is not soft. She is not always kind. She punishes arrogance, as in the story of Arachne. She is complex, sometimes harsh, sometimes merciful. She embodies intellect without sentimentality. Psychologically, Athena represents the strategic mind. In modern terms, she is a part of us that stays calm in crisis, that plans instead of panics. She stands for independence, clarity, and leadership. But she also has a shadow. Too much intellect can distance us from emotion. Too much armor can isolate us. And so Athena's lesson is balance. Use your mind, but do not deny your heart. Be strong, but remain just. Be strategic, but do not lose compassion. Athena's mirror shows us our potential. Inside each of us, there is a quiet, armored figure waiting to emerge when things fall apart. A voice that says, think, pause, choose wisely. Listen to that voice, and like Athena's owl, may you learn to see clearly, even in the dark.